All right, I'm going to close that door. Okay, so starting in a forward fold, just have the feet hips distance, keep a little bend into your knees, and just let the body flop over the legs. So you can have as much bend in the knees as you want to have. Almost let your body rest onto the thighs if that feels more comfortable. And then entirely up to you what you do with the hands here. So you can rest them onto cushions or to blocks. You can hold onto the back of the legs or hold onto your elbows, or just lean onto your cat if you've got a handy cat there. Just really try and let the weight of your head stretch out the spine here. So see if you can let go of any holding around the neck or around the jaw. To start to feel the breath expand into the ribs. If folding is feeling really tense through the back or the hamstrings, feel free to even lean onto a chair or something so you're lesser in a fold, your hands onto a wall if that's more comfortable. Feel free to keep a gentle swaying in that side to side. Just loosen off the back, loosen off the hamstrings. Here for about another 5 breaths. Can you let go of the head? Can you let go of the jaw any further? Take one more deep round of breath. Bend the knees enough now so that your hands come to the floor. You're going to lift up onto the tiptoes, bring the feet slightly closer together if you want to, and the knees are going to come down to the floor. So we get that foot stretch that I know everyone just thoroughly enjoys. So allow the hands to rest to the legs. We're just going to add in a sort of neck stretch into it. So keep the toes tucked. My little mascot here, you can't see my feet. And then just let your head drop over towards one shoulder. Just feel the stretch come down the side of the neck. Again, just keeping the jaw relaxed into it, keeping the shoulders down. Gently roll the chin towards the chest, and then take the head across to the other shoulder. Deepen the breath if it's starting to feel intense through the feet. Rolling the chin gently towards your chest and bring the head back up straight. Just flatten the feet. I'm going to come into more of a hero pose. If you have a couple of cushions or blocks, take your feet out about as wide as your hips. So heels are on the outer side of your hips. And if you want to place your cushion or cushions between the heels, you can pad yourself up as high as you need to with that to sit onto. Try and get the heels open so you get that slight rotation through your thigh bones. That's it. We're just going to add in a little wrist stretch into it. So take the left hand forwards, palm facing out in front of you. Your right hand, so thumb, I'll come closer to the screen actually for this. So your right thumb is going to come to the back of the left knuckle, left little finger knuckle, and wrap the fingers around that little finger. So take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, very gently, obviously without dislocating any digits, draw that finger down and press out through the heel of that left hand. Really stretch the hand open as wide as you can. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, just release that hand. Bring the thumb behind the ring finger knuckle and wrap the hand around that finger. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gently draw the finger down, stretching out through the rest of the palm. So particularly keeping that distance between your little finger and thumb. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to release. Bring your thumb behind the center finger. Wrap the hand around. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the finger down. Keep pressing out through the heel of the hand. Arm stays straight and the fingers stretch out. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to release that finger. Bring the thumb behind the index finger knuckle and the hand wraps around it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the finger down, push out through the heel of the hand. Try and stretch the distance between your little finger and thumb. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, gently release. Bring your thumb behind the thumb knuckle, wrap the fingers around. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the thumb back. Really stretch the other fingers out. It's quite a tough ligament through the hand. Maybe just give that an extra breath if it's feeling a little bit tight. Hold a surprising amount of tension through the hands, particularly possibly one hand more than the other if we work with our hands or use our phones all day. Gently release, just give that wrist a roll out, the arms a roll. Adjust the legs if you need to. It doesn't really matter how the legs are. Just giving the legs that opportunity to be slightly inward rotating in that hero pose. So stay there if you're comfortable. Take that to the other side. So the right hand is forwards, arm in a straight line. Your left thumb behind the little finger knuckle. That's it. Wrap the other fingers round. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw that finger back, push out through the heel of the hand, stretching the other fingers open. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, releasing that finger. Bring the thumb behind your ring finger knuckle, wrapping the fingers around. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the finger back, push out through the heel of that hand, stretch the other fingers open. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, gently release. Thumb behind the center finger knuckle. Wrap the fingers around it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, encouraging it to stretch. Lengthen out through the rest of the palm. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to release it. Thumb behind the index finger knuckle, wrap the fingers around. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, find the stretch, opening out through the palm. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, gently release. Bring the thumb behind the thumb knuckle, wrap the other fingers round. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the thumb back towards the forearms, stretch the other fingers open. And just maybe give that an extra breath if it's feeling a little bit tighter. Just maybe acknowledge one hand different to the other perhaps. Take a big breath in. And exhale, gently release the hand. Again, just give that wrist a roll out, so your shoulders a roll out, the neck side to side. If you're sat onto cushions or anything, just release the cushions away, coming into a child's pose from there. So you can bring this cushion underneath the forehead if you have it. We're going to try and keep the arms down the sides of the legs if that's comfortable with the breath. So you can let your head rest onto that cushion so your face is kind of in between cushion and knees. So just allowing the shoulders to really melt either side of your knees. If it's uncomfortable for your chest or for your breath, feel free to take the knees out a little bit wider and the body comes down in between the legs. See if you can physically feel the breath move into the back of the ribs. Keeping that curved opening of the spine, work from the tailbone into the back of the head. Staying where you are, taking about another 5 breaths here. A real restorative posture. Last breath where you are. From there, gently roll yourself back up again. Bring the hands out in front of you. You can keep the cushion kind of under the head as we come into this next pose. It's more of a gentle puppy stretch. But first, just give your knees out, stretch out if you need to. And then we reset with the knees underneath your hips. The hands or the cushion underneath the forehead, so elbows are wide. And then keep the tailbone lifting up as you sink the chest down. Try and keep the thighs in a straight line from hips to knees, so we're not folding in towards that child's pose. Really bring the hips over the knees and the chest and armpits sink towards the floor. So I have my head resting onto the back of the hands, but as I say, you can rest the head onto cushion if that's a little more comfortable. If you want to take that a little bit deeper for the shoulders, then extend the arms out straight in front of you. So you come more into that full puppy stretch. Arms out long, armpits sinking to the floor. Feel the breath move into the abdominals, into the ribs. Staying here for about 5 more breaths. Gently bring yourself into an all-fours position. Hands come under the shoulders. Just give your back a little wriggle out or a couple of cat-cows. Just bringing some soft movement into the body. From here, keep the cushion handy. We're going to come all the way down onto your belly. So bring the hips down, just let the body roll into the floor. Now, if you want to, it may feel uncomfortable, it may feel really comfortable, so this is entirely up to you. That sort of softer pad space of the belly, sort of between ribs and hips. To place a cushion, it also kind of depends on the size of your cushion or your blanket, can often work quite well here. Place that underneath your belly. The hands underneath the forehead. So having that support under the soft part of the belly just keeps the spine more flat, rather than naturally if we're lying on the ground, we can sit ourselves into a bit of a back bend. So just keeping the belly slightly elevated will keep the spine nice and lengthened. It's a really nice way to restore any sort of lower back ache. And if it feels uncomfortable with your cushion in the belly, then do feel free to remove it. We're just going to stay here on the ground. Allow the big toes to turn in towards each other slightly and let the heels drop out. So again, you bring that extra little bit of release towards the lower back, allowing the glutes to really soften. So just concentrate into the breath. Just holding the observance of it, moving through the nose and into the belly, into the ribs. Allowing the weight of your body to really drop into the floor. Connected with the ground. Last couple of breaths where you are, just enjoying that heaviness and stillness of the body. From here, we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So pressing through your elbows, just lift the chest up, tuck the elbows into underneath the shoulders. And you can either keep the cushion where you are, again, just to protect any too much arching of the lower back. Other option to bring the cushion slightly further forward so they support you underneath the rib cage. So your hips are on the floor and the cushion is kind of between the hips and the ribs. So you just support yourself in that gentle back bend through the upper spine. See how it feels. Option to work with no cushion as well. It just feels a little bit more active through the body. So keep the forearms grounded. Nose just gazing forwards, or if you want to bring more release into the neck, then allow the head to hang heavy. That feels good. So again, it's a very restorative way to keep that flexion of the spine. Again, see if you can tune in with the breath. Observe each time you notice your mind wander onto thoughts, lists. Each time you catch your thoughts wandering off onto stories and lists, etc., etc., just bring it back to the focus of your breath. Get back to a count or something steady. Taking a last couple of breaths where you are. From here, just look down towards the ground, pressing lightly through the elbows. So just slide that pillow away from you if you have it. Come back onto lying onto your front, and we're going to add in a quad stretch. So allow yourself to prop yourself up on your left arm, bend to the right knee, and sweep the right hand around to grab hold of the shoelace bit of your foot. Keep the knees together and allow the head to rest onto that left forearm in front of you. Press the hip bones into the floor, so you create that lengthening through the front of the thigh. If you want to deepen into that, again, option to pop the cushion underneath your knee, so you create a little bit more elevation through the leg. Again, be aware of your mind, be aware of your thoughts. Just training the strength of your concentration, the strength of that stillness of the mind. Last few breaths here. From here, stay with the leg. If you have the cushion under the knee, just release it. You're going to take your hand over the top of the toes and grab hold of the inside arch of the foot. So make sure your arm doesn't feel twisted in any way. Just grab the foot how it feels comfortable to you on the inside arch of that foot. Keep the knees together and then just press into the foot slightly so the little toe edge of your foot comes towards the floor. That's it. So if you bend your elbow, the elbow points towards the ceiling. It should feel like the comfortable way to be resting the hand into the foot. That's it. Again, just staying here for a couple of breaths. We won't be here too long, but just allowing the glutes, the buttocks to really relax into it. So you're allowing your femur, your thigh bone, to bring rotation into that hip socket, bringing some ease and space into the piriformis and all those muscles around the hip. Take a couple more breaths where you are. Gently bring the foot back center, release hold of it, and then as you stretch the leg back, send it back as far as it will go, and then place it down to the floor. I'm going to switch sides with the quad stretch, so prop yourself up on the right arm, take the left hand around to grab the foot. Keep the knees together. If you want the cushion underneath the knee, then pad that knee up so you get a little bit more elevation. Otherwise, staying on the floor with it if you get enough of the stretch. Good. That's it. Pressing the hips into the ground. Let the head relax down onto your right forearm. So hopefully feeling the stretch down the front of your left thigh into the quads. Last couple of breaths. And then take your hand over the top of the toes. So again, you hold on to the inner arch of the foot. Just release the cushion, sorry, from underneath the knee if you have that. Keep the knees together and just allow the little toe edge of that left foot to come towards the floor. Just let it drop out to the side. Really try to allow the glutes to relax, so you're just opening the bone structure around the hip. That's it. Take a deep breath in where you are. And as you exhale, bring that leg back through to the center and gently lengthen it away again as far as it will go as you release it back. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders and gently press up to all fours and then come back into your child's pose, this time with knees wide and big toes touching. Folding the hips back to the heels, should feel like you get a bit of release through the back after lying on your belly. Keep the arms lengthening out in front of you this time, forehead resting to the ground. From here, gently bring yourself into all fours, and however feels best to get there, step your right leg forward so you come into a lunge. Go long through the leg, so that back knee is a little bit further away from you. So if you want to pad out your back knee, option to take a cushion underneath the shin, so the back knee is kind of hovering or lighter to the floor. Make sure this front knee is over the ankle and the hands can rest to the ground. If they don't reach over that front leg, you can have both arms on the inside of the leg if it's more comfortable. Entirely up to you. Just holding here in the lunge. Think about the pelvis sinking heavy towards that front heel. Head hanging heavy, or you can just gently sway the head from one side to the other to add in a little bit more neck release if that's what the neck is needing. On your next exhale, see if that back knee can just shuffle another inch further back. Focus into the breath. Notice where you feel it move. Notice where you can soften. Notice when your mind starts to get naggy and wants you to move. Last couple of breaths. If your back hip needs a little bit of release, just send the hips back slightly. Give the hips a bit of movement. You're going to keep this right leg in front, but turn the toes out towards the right. You can shuffle the foot around a little bit further to the side. Bring your left hand forwards. So you're going to lift up the back knee. Slide that cushion to underneath your bum. So you're going to sit down on the side. So your left buttock is resting into the cushion. The right hand is resting onto the knee. You're supporting yourself up with that left hand. So just take the left hand forwards a little bit, just to stay eased into the wrist. So use your right arm to hug around that right knee. So you pull that in towards the chest. So you're lengthening the left line of the body. That's it. So really turn the shoulders. So your gaze is turning towards the back foot, your left foot. If it's in reach, you can allow your head to round onto that right knee in front of you. Think about the left side of your rib cage trying to sink towards the floor. Just holding for another couple of breaths here as you're resting into that left wrist. I don't want to hold you here too long. So on your next exhale, bring both hands to the ground and just make your way back into an all fours position. Slide that right leg back. Give your hips a little wriggle or a couple of cat-cows, anything you need to do to release. So if you have the cushion under the shin in the lunge, place the cushion underneath your right shin and then bring the left foot forwards into that long lunge. Left knee over the ankle at the front and make sure the hands can rest onto the floor or onto blocks or anything if you have something handy underneath you. If you don't have blocks in the hands or the body doesn't feel comfortable with one hand either side of that front foot, feel free to bring both hands to the inside of the front foot if it's more comfortable. Otherwise, it's quite nice to have one hand either side so you can kind of rest your body onto that front thigh. Try and stay heavy through the head. Gentle movement through the neck if it needs it. Use your next few breaths to bring a little bit more release somewhere in the body as you exhale. See where you can soften. Last full breath where you are. And we bring it into that lounge lunge. So just lift the body up slightly. Turn your left toes out to the side. You can just wriggle that foot round a little bit. Your weight is on the right hand. And just bring your cushion up to underneath the right buttock. So as you turn your body in towards the left side of your mat, you're sitting the right buttock onto that cushion. Your left arm is just going to hug that front knee in towards you. Don't worry about too much how it's set. I'll turn around the other way so maybe you can see that. So you're lengthening the right leg, the right line of the body. Keep that right hand slightly further away from you, just to ease into the wrist. And think about that underneath side of your rib cage, your right ribs, trying to sink towards the floor. Allow the head to round in towards your front knee. See if you can feel your breath expanding into the right side of the ribs. So just holding for a couple of breaths. From here, we're going to come into seated. So just slide maybe that underneath leg in, so that you can just sit yourself upright. Stay on your cushion if that feels more comfortable, or stay on the ground, up to you. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, so you come into a Baddha Kodasana. So have the soles of the feet together, knees open. Interlace the fingers together and place the hands under the feet, so that your feet are in the palms of the hands. Take a big breath in as you lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, lean forwards with a straight spine to start with. When that straight spine kind of stops, then allow the head to curl heavy. Again, see if you can really let go of the weight of your head. There's no pulling, there's no forcing, there's no struggle. If it's not comfortable for the hands to rest under the feet, of course, please just adjust however your hands are. Elbows can rest into the inner thighs or over the shins, again, wherever your shoulders feel most released. This is just a heavy restorative pose. See where you can let go, using the weight of your body to open into itself. We need to hold here for about another 10 breaths. Really take your time with the breath. About 3 more breaths. Very slowly, take your time to sit your spine back up straight. Bring the hands underneath the legs and then use the hands to help the knees come back together. So place the feet to the floor and just give the knees a very gentle rock side to side. Just kind of ease out into the hips. Good stuff. And then from here, come onto your back. Keep the cushion kind of in reach. Keep the feet to the floor and just give the knees a gentle rock side to side again. Just ease off that lower back after the folds. Bring the arms out to the sides of you along the floor or into a cactus position if you want to keep a bit more opening through the chest. Allow both knees to come down to one side, just finding a twist. So let the knees either just flop down or you can stack the knees one on top of the other. If you feel like you need to just shimmy your hips into a slightly different place, then feel free to adjust yourself so that you're in a comfortable twist you can hold for a couple of minutes. Option to use the cushion here between your knees or on top of the knees to add a little bit of weight. It feels comfortable for the head to turn towards the left, or sorry, towards the direction away from your knees. Then add that in if it's feels comfortable. So you continue that spiral right through from the tailbone into the back of the head. Use the breath to really massage through the internal structure of the body. That waving of the diaphragm, moving through all those intercostal muscles on the inside of the ribs. Last couple of breaths where you are. In your own time, bring the head back center first. Release a cushion away if it's resting between or on top of the legs, and just change sides with your twists. So take your time to reset yourself. You need to adjust the hips over to one side and then drop the knees down. Just take your time. Again, find a comfortable resting place into it. And then apply your cushion either between the knees or on top of the knees, just to add that gentle little bit of weight into the legs. Your head doesn't have to turn on the first breath. Give it a couple of breaths to the rest of the body to settle if that's more comfortable. Allowing yourself, after a few breaths in these poses that we hold for a little bit longer, to move after a few breaths. So you're in stillness without rigidity, allowing the release of the body to kind of stimulate some adjustments that you might need to make. Take a last big breath in where you are. Bring the head back center, remove any cushions and bring the legs back center. So we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So option to use cushion or cushions, as many as you like, depending on how high you want to take the hips. If you have blocks or bricks, the option to use those as well underneath the pelvis. So grab what you need, if it's hopefully in reach of you, and place that underneath the hips as you lift them up. And then resting the hips back down again. Again, finding that compromise of something that feels nice and open, but somewhere that you're happy to hold just for a couple of minutes. Make sure the feet feel grounded, so you're not having to hold the legs too much. Kind of just balancing on top of the ankles. Again, entirely up to you where your arms are here. They can rest at the sides, down by the torso, sides out along the side of the floor, or back behind you somewhere. Feel the breath still flushing through the abdomen, expanding into the ribs. Maybe noticing a little bit of gurgling through the organs as you're in a slight inversion. Staying where you are for about another 5 breaths. Very slowly pressing through the feet, lift the hips up away from your cushions or your props and slide the cushions away so you can roll your spine flat to the ground. From here, we're going to kind of reset ourselves a little bit. So you might want to just prop yourself up, so roll over to one side, and then place the cushions underneath your shoulder blades. So we take a little bit more of a arch through the spine the other way. So a bit like pillows that are more under the shoulder blades. To keep the hips on the ground, the cushions or your props in the arch of the back into the shoulders. And if it's comfortable, you can let the head drop back. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then just bring the cushions further up so you use them as more of a pillow this day. Keep the arms out to the sides of the body so the chest feels open. And then entirely up to you where you place your legs. So maybe the knees are resting into each other. Or we have that Baddha Konasana again, so soles of the feet together, knees open. Or legs out flat along the floor is fine as well. Really feel the breath move into your chest space now. So use this as a heart opening sensation. Acknowledging the breath to move into that space around the heart center and into the upper ribs, to the upper quarter of your lungs that come up almost towards your neck. Softening the muscles around the face. You're going to stay where you are for about another 10 breaths. I'm going to guide you through these next 10 breaths. So sink in with me if you can. So take a full inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 6. Inhale. Exhale, 7. Inhale. Exhale, 8. Inhale. Exhale, 9. Inhale. Exhale, 10. Very slowly, again, just gently rolling yourself to one side so that you can remove the cushions. Keep one under the head if you want to. We're going to come into a Shavasana, so make yourself comfortable, flat and grounded. Cushions underneath your thighs can also feel really comfortable for your back. Give yourself a full stretch out if you want to. Anything that just helps you feel comfortable and released fully. And allowing stillness and heaviness into the ground. Allow the weight of your pelvis to feel anchored. Allowing that to bring release and softness to your back and legs. Keeping the eyelids softly closed, just bring your focus point to the center of the forehead. Let's try to sense in that space that there's a light there. Whatever color that light is up to you. Sense that light then traveling down towards your throat. Sense the light then traveling down towards the heart center. Spilling out the light to the shoulders and down the arms. Right through to the fingertips. The light then travels from the heart center through to the stomach. Lighting up around the rib cage, the upper abdomen, the upper back. Allow it then to travel down towards the navel. Lighting up those lower organs. Allow it then to reach the very base of the torso, the very base of pelvis. So it spills down the legs, right through to the tips of your toes. Allow the light to sit into the tailbone and then sense it trickle back up the spine, just one vertebrae at a time. All the way through the back of the neck, into the back of the head, lighting up the head, lighting up the brain and the mind, the crown of the head. Resting back again at the center of your forehead. And keeping the whole of your body lit up brightly with that warmth. Just begin to deepen into your breath. So as you breathe a little bit deeper, sense the light maybe brighten, like you're turning up the volume on it. If you can, keep the sensation of that light in the body as you bring some movements to your fingers and to your toes. Just maybe turning the head from one side to the other. Very slowly just bringing your awareness back into the room that you're in. Bending your knees so your feet find the ground, and just let your spine lengthen, flatten to the ground. Really take your time. You can roll yourself over to one side first, I would suggest, to then bring yourself up to a seated posture, and just try to keep the eyes closed for a moment if you can while you're upright. Keeping hold of that sensation of your light through the whole of the body. Keeping the spine lifted, the rib cage bright, the heart center bright, the whole of the head alight. And I invite you to try and keep hold of that sensation through the rest of your evening. So close the palms together at the heart center, close that light into the body. Take a really deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you. Well done, guys. A nice restorative, nothing too deep, stretchy. Lots of love. Bye.